The Go Radio Football Show with Burger King. Watch live at 5 p.m. weekdays on YouTube. Join the conversation on 0808 17 17 700. Talking Scottish football first.
Good evening, Paul Cooney here with Barry Ferguson and Charlie Mulgrew. You know the number, 0808 17 17 700. Many calls on a Monday night. The mother of all title races took another twist at the weekend, as you know. Hearts losing at Kilmarnock. Unexpected, or was it? Celtic winning 3-1 at home to Motherwell, now just 2 points off the leaders. And Rangers yesterday, 1-0 victory at Paisley, takes them just to 3 points off the summit. 8 games to go. Other headline today, well, it's the Scotland squad for the game with Japan and the Ivory Coast. Finlay Curtis on loan at Kilmarnock from Rangers is a call-up. Wow, what a weekend. Barry, first of all, were you surprised at the Hearts scoreline, dropping all 3 points at Rugby Park?
Yep, because of the results the previous week. Kilmarnock suffered a heavy defeat against Falkirk. Hearts had a good win against Aberdeen. So I thought it would have been a tough one for Hearts, but I thought they would have got the 3 points. But listen, I've got to give credit to Kilmarnock. I thought they were excellent on the night and thoroughly deserved their win. It was a surprise, but listen, we've said many a times there's going to be plenty twists and turns. Certainly that was a surprise result. So yep, I was surprised Hearts dropped points, but the most important thing for both Rangers and Celtic was they had to win. We obviously Celtic playing before they did win. I'm talking about Rangers going to Paisley yesterday and getting the 3 points.
Charlie, we know you were at the Dundee derby, a crazy end to that game, but you were at the Celtic game before
I was
going up there. What did you make of Celtic? A good win, solid win?
I was really interested to see that game, Paul. I knew it would be a difficult game for Celtic, and I thought Celtic done really well, a lot better than I thought, in terms of how they got up against Motherwell and pressed them. They're clearly having a week to work on it. A lot of times they've had obviously midweek games, they've had a clean week running into it, a clear week, and they worked on how they were going to play, and you could clear as day see that. They turned out with a lot of aggression and intensity, and were unlucky to go 1-0 down. A mistake, short pass in the middle of the pitch, and Atati loses it, but they responded really well, scored the goal at a good time. Probably a fair result at the break, and then Celtic came out second half and were just so powerful and strong and intense the way they played really well, and you just knew, you got a feeling inside the stadium that Celtic were going to go on and win it, and they did eventually get in the penalty, which was the right decision. And eventually John Beaton came to that decision and then run over the top of them. Much better team, Celtic, in the end. And listen, Motherwell were brilliant, really impressive though again, the way they play the short passes. Their go-to is play short and try and play through. They've clearly got a good coach there with game plan. We've spoken about them loads on here. I was really impressed by them, but Celtic got the job done and pretty comfortable in the end.
And then of course at night time, Sean Larsson getting his first goal for Killie.
Yep.
That must have made your day. I see Danny Rowe. We hear Danny Rowe saying it made him smile, because if you haven't been tuned in, Charlie had said, look, Hearts are never going to win the league. Months ago you'd said that, and you're going to go through there and...
No, I did that months ago, but recently I've said it's theirs to lose, and it's still theirs to lose. Yep. It's they're in the position, they're in the driving seat, and I was a surprise on Saturday night. I don't know if the word is surprised, because every team's got something to fight for now, and nobody no different than Kilmarnock going down. There's a tough place to go with the pitch. Neil McCann's obviously a good manager. He's got them fire and got them playing, got them hard to beat again. And Hearts, I mean, I don't know how many times in the season they've went one behind, but it doesn't suit them. They suit getting in front and keeping their noses in front. And yeah, fair play to Kilmarnock, but again another twist in the title race. Let's see how this pans out. But listen, it's Hearts' title to lose.
Still, of course it is, because they are top of the table. 63
and every
points.
time they've got beat or dropped points, they've responded. So I don't expect it to be any different. It's going to be a tight run in.
And Rangers still very much in the title race.
Yep, Rangers keep ticking the wins off. I don't know how much. They're creating in the final third, not a lot. Well, I know how much they're not creating loads, free-flowing football, but they're winning games, and they've won again. Doesn't matter how you win them. 1-0, and Roman's at the back post again. He likes to get in that back post, and he's a threat for that. So, Rangers are in amongst that again as well.
Barry, it wasn't pretty to watch, but the points came back to Govan.
It wasn't. It didn't have a lot of quality within the game, and that's from both sets of teams. But Paul, I couldn't care less. It's all about getting to 3 points. I'll take another 8 like that. Honestly, I'll take another 8 like that. As I said, I'm sitting watching it. There wasn't a lot of brilliant passages of football. Look, the conditions were tough because it was pretty windy. The pitch looked a bit bobbly. But take that aside, the most important thing for Rangers at this moment in time is getting 3 points, because their away form over the last month or so hasn't been ideal. They've dropped a number of points. So it was crucial that they got the 3 points, and that's what they got yesterday.
Ready for some calls after your birthday week? You know, he was 40 last week, Barry.
Yep.
You haven't seen him since.
I was surprised.
Aye. The beard's got even better.
Somebody told me about that.
I know you thought it was 25 there, didn't you?
Dyeing his beard. I might need to do that as well. I've got a few greys coming through, ginger, whatever.
Go Radio Football Show with Burger King. Let's go on the lines. First up, Monday night, 0808 17 17 700. Big Celtic fan, Kevin. Hi, Kevin.
How you doing, boys? All right?
Yeah,
Hi, Kevin.
good, thank you. So what are you thinking?
Just the weekend there, it was a great performance for Celtic. But I've got to start off the call just by saying, just so impressed with Motherwell.
Okay.
I'm not a Celtic fan, and it's really talking about my own club, but honestly, what a brilliant team to watch. But I think that makes the result all the sweeter for us, because we beat such a great team. 3-1, comfortable. I think Celtic should be looking at that boy Will Just in the summer. I thought I was really impressed with him.
Charlie's nodding. Elijah Just, who scored.
Elijah Just, sorry, not Will Just. Elijah Just, sorry.
There's Elliot as well.
A cracking player, but it was just a really good, really good game to watch. Delighted with the 3 points. Delighted to get a couple of goals on the board. I've just listened to Barry there saying that he would take another 8 games like that, 1-0. But if Hearts win other games and Rangers still win all their games 1-0, Hearts will still win the league goal difference. So Celtic still, so get a couple of goals on the board for Celtic was really important. And I actually think, I don't know what Barry and Charlie think, I actually think both clubs are going to have to start piling in the goals, because it's getting really, really, really tight at the end of that end of that table. So I think goals has got to come in here. I'm not sure what the boys think.
Well, I think that's obviously what they're trying to do, but I think wins come first, and if you can get goals, obviously you need to try and get them, because it could come down to that. It's that tight. But again, I agree with you, Eli. Just what a player. I think he'll probably be away in the summer. Somebody will come for him. I think Celtic should try and get him, and also the boy Watt was brilliant on the day. But Motherwell, for me, I've never seen a team, I've said it before, outside Celtic and Rangers, where they play that many short passes that their go-to isn't a safety ball, just empty it forward to nobody. They're willing to play long passes, but it's long passes with a purpose to try and get in behind. But they'll go and they'll play short passes, and they'll try and get out tight areas, run down in corners, wee short passes, bounce passes. They lose it sometimes, but the manager just continues to say, keep playing. He believes in a philosophy. It's clear to see, and all the players have got behind them. And it was a really good. I really wanted to go to the game to see it at Celtic Park and see how brave these players were coming for the manager, and they were brilliant. It was a great game to watch, and it was quite unusual sometimes at Celtic. Celtic pressed high, but then would drop off into the half at times when Motherwell get through the press, and they would sit in a shape. And it's funny to see Celtic not in Europe and sitting in a shape in their half, because Motherwell having the ball, but Celtic defended well, offered nothing really in the final third, Motherwell, because Celtic did defend so well. 1 or 2 flashes, but in the end Celtic got the job done, and it was a good professional performance, and you could see they were up for it the second half, the way Kieran Tierney, the way Atati, the way Maeda were smashing into tackles and showing some real intensity was great to see. So it gave me a lot more hope that Celtic can put a good fight for the title up.
And Barry Yang, he loves playing under Martin O'Neill. He loved it late last year and again this year. Yeah,
2 good finishes. I'll be honest with you, when he first came in, I wasn't too sure about him. But listen, this season he's grown to be a real important player for Celtic. And 2 great finishes against a very good Motherwell team. I mean, I've seen Motherwell live now 3 times this season, but we've spoken about them plenty of times. They're just they're a great team to watch. They've got a certain way of playing. They've got a real belief. I think that comes from the manager. And there's no doubt they're going to struggle to keep a hold of a number of players in that Motherwell team.
And the manager, probably. Kevin, back to you in a second. Here's your manager, Martin O'Neill, after the game.
Great win for us. Naturally, I'm delighted with it. Thought it was a really good game of football. Motherwell are a very fine footballing side, no question about that. And it was one of those where you just felt it was just going to be really open, and so it proved to be. Motherwell were very dangerous throughout the game, and we fought back brilliantly to win. So it was great.
And he praised Yang and Maeda.
Well, I believe that he was about to leave the football club in August time, which has been a wee bit strange, I must admit. What he's done in my 2 spells here has been, I couldn't have asked for any more, really. Not too far behind him was Daizan today. I thought he was great in terms of what he does for the team. Goes up and plays centre forward in the first half, comes wide in the second half. But Yang's performance was just, as I said, immense.
Kevin, your point about, the goal difference, Rangers is 27, so is Hearts, Celtic 24. What did you make of Oxlade-Chamberlain so close to getting the ball over the line with that strike?
I could have actually celebrated, thought it was in. And then I'm like, oh my God, so unlucky. What a strike. I think he's starting to get into a bit of a rhythm, to be honest with you, Paul. See, my mate was at the game, I wasn't at the game, but my mate used to play football, and he says, listen, for the first half of what I wanted to do was just sit and watch Oxlade-Chamberlain, and he just said his movement is, and it's just some of his wee touches, they kind of go on unnoticed, his wee touches and wee flicks. He's just different class, and then once he gets up to full speed, he could be a big player for us. I really think we should take the option of signing him for the other year. I think he's got, I think he's a class act. But just a wee point, I don't want to. I'm not really one for coming on and moan. I don't think I've ever actually come on and moaned about a referee, but the referee on Saturday just, and I've got to say a wee bit out of place here, but I actually think the Ox was very lucky in what he gets sent off, and I don't understand why it's not went to VAR. And this is why VAR frustrates me. I don't know why it's not went to VAR. And I'm glad it didn't. But I don't understand why it didn't.
Yeah, I saw the replays. And
I don't know how. This is the top level of Scottish football. John Beaton, how does he not see that pull on Dyson? He's standing right there. So if he's not following the flight of the ball, what else is he looking at? That shouldn't even need to go. Now, I know we got the decision in the end, all right, I get that, but if it wasn't for VAR, we wouldn't have got the penalty, and John Beaton should not be missing that. He shouldn't be missing that.
All right, Charlie.
The referee's been disappointing this season.
Okay, what would you say, Charlie?
First of all, with the Oxlade-Chamberlain one, I'm surprised as well. I thought that could have been looked at. Again, I don't know where the consistency is. I don't understand a lot of decisions, even yesterday in the Dundee derby. Simon Murray getting the penalty against him. I don't know where he's meant to put his hands. He's trying to change direction. Yeah. For me, that's a natural position where his arm is. Not so outstretched away for the body, but he knows nothing about it. And he's not, of course, he's not trying to handball the ball in that situation. The ball's going away for goal. But anyway, consistency's no great. And then Maeda one, thankfully they did come to the right decision. John Beaton, I don't know how he never saw it, but it was clear as day to me. But thankfully he came to the right decision in the end.
Barry, did you see, I'm coming back to the Celtic thing, but did you see the Simon Murray, the handball?
No.
I mean, so he knew nothing of it.
He was in the corner of the box, ball tried to get played wide. He's tried to change direction, it's hit his hand, but
I think the standard of the refereeing is well below the standard that's needed this season. Some of the decisions, you're talking about the Celtic one there that John Beaton doesn't see it. The Maeda one for the pull down for the penalty, I don't understand why you don't see it. You're in an actual good position. I'm not just talking about that game. I think we can go on here for hours and hours. There's a number of games that I've watched, and some of the decisions are absolute baffling.
Kevin, final point. Are you going to win the league? Or do you think, Rangers 1 point behind you, Hearts still in pole position, but what a finish to the season.
It was a brilliant finish to the season. Fair play to Rangers and Celtic for when they came through. Rangers a horrible start, Celtic a horrible December, and obviously fair play to Hearts and Motherwell. But I've got to say something here. I make Celtic slight favourites to win the league, and I'm only basing that on the fact that if all the teams win all their games between now and the split, I make Celtic favourites just based on the fact that we'll have Rangers and Hearts at Parkhead. I think we'll win the league.
Barry, what would you say?
No,
Yep.
I'm going with Rangers. I said that 4 or 5 weeks ago. I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to go with Rangers.
Rangers run in until the split. You've got Aberdeen, obviously, Saturday night
Yep.
at home. Dundee United at home. Falkirk away. Celtic are away to Dundee United, as you know, on Sunday, isn't it, the game? Dundee away, and then St Mirren at home. And then Hearts, still very much in it, top of the table. They've got Dundee at home, Livy away, and Motherwell at home. So Rangers maybe an easier run in up until the split.
There's no easy games at this
No, you're
stage,
right.
Paul. There's
Sure,
a lot
I
of
know.
pressure.
Yep.
There's 8 games to go. It's who handles the pressure the best, in my opinion.
Charlie, I'm just going to give you a sight of this.
I think that it's Hearts to lose. They've responded well after defeats. I don't think you can say who's got an easier run in because it's every team's fighting. Either there's new managers in the door, there's managers that need responses for their teams, there's players playing for contracts next season, there's teams trying to avoid relegation. There's too much going on to think there's going to be an easy run in. We've seen Hearts play Kilmarnock, obviously beat. So anybody can put up a fight and get a result. Dundee look a good side. They can cause upsets as well. So there's twists and turns to come, and that's probably before the split as well.
Good call. Kevin, thank you so much. It's not often a fan comes on and says, look, my team, we got away with one, with Oxlade Chamberlain. I quite like that they're honest.
I think it's just consistency in it.
Sure.
Needs to be.
Danny Rowe had something in common with you last night or the night before when he heard the Hearts result. He was obviously, I think most people surprised.
Yeah, I would lying when I was not smiling after this. This is normal, but I know in the next week it's again, and we have to deliver again, and it goes now a little bit up and down. Yeah, this team who is now consistently until the end and take the right results will win this league.
So they went to Paisley with Craig McLeish in charge after Stephen Robinson got up to Pittodrie. 1-1 for them on Saturday. He said he was happy with his team's response.
This was the result today. I felt this in the morning when we meet each other. There was so much energy in the dressing room. It was fantastic. There's so much belief in our group. There's no doubt that we can achieve something this season. But you have to take the results, and today we did. I think the table now looks better than before this match day, and this is great.
Barry, apart from the result, what did you take from it? What would you see?
Not much. If I'm being honest with you, as I said, I'm just being honest watching the game. I didn't think it was a particularly good game to watch. Yep, you've got to take conditions into consideration. And it's one of the games where when you go away from home, Charlie made the point at the start of the show, St Mirren are fighting for their lives. They're in a battle with Kilmarnock now. So you knew it was going to be tough. Obviously the manager leaving, they've got something to prove, but the most important thing was Rangers finding a way to win, and that's exactly what they've done. In terms of the energy levels, they weren't what you expect, but listen, just forget about it. As I said to you, I would take games, another 8 like that, right up until the end of the season. It's not how you play, it's how you find a way to get the 3 points, and that's what they've done, the bottom line.
And he spoke about 9 cup finals, so he won the first of them, 8 to go.
Well, every game, I look at every game at Rangers should be like that.
You always did, didn't you?
Aye.
Yeah.
It's not just because you're at the business end of the season. That should be the case for the start of the season.
Yeah.
But now they've went to a tough place. They've got the 3 points because, as I said, over that February period, they'd been to Easter Road, they'd been to Livingston, they'd been to Fir Park, they'd dropped points. So it was a case of making sure no drop points. I thought they were pretty solid defensively. A clean sheet, 3 points up the road. Was the game great? Nowhere near. Was it great? But the most important thing was you get a win.
Here is Danny Rowe.
We are happy today. I think after 3 good performances without the right result today, we took the result, and this is the most important. When you go in cup finals, it's about winning games, and today we won the first cup final.
Charlie, what do you make of it with Rangers? You were looking for Chermiti and Nadiri to kick on.
Yeah.
Didn't see much from
No,
them.
they look like they've not got loads of ideas in the final third, lacking a bit of creativity. Obviously, credit to St Mirren. Obviously, losing their manager, playing a different sort of style. They stood up to the challenge well. Rangers done what they needed to do. They'll get the 1-0 result. Good defensive display for Jigger Fernandez again, and they need to just keep ticking them off.
Richard King switched off, didn't he?
He did.
goal.
He did. He needs to deal with that. I don't know if he thought he was offside or he was the
I
blind
don't know what he's
side.
doing there,
I
Charlie.
know. He needs to
Just
deal with
see
it.
if you're unsure what's going on behind you, just put your foot through it and get rid of it. But listen, it was a mistake, and fair play to Romans. He's gambled because he must be thinking the defender's going to deal with it. He's not dealt with it, and it was a really good finish from Romans.
0808 17 17 700. More of your calls next.
The Go Radio Football Show with Burger King.
Yep, the pundits tonight, the top pundits, Charlie Mulgrew, Barry Ferguson with me, Paul Cooney, and in the next hour, somebody could win £250 or 500. I'll tell you during the news what it's going to be, but to test your
Do you think I'll get
football
chosen?
skill,
I've not been chosen yet.
I know, but you maybe. Why
to be
not?
fair, I
Yeah.
wouldn't choose me either.
It's about top scorers. I think I can tell them that just now, James, can't I? Yeah, so some great top Scottish scorers, okay?
Nice.
And we'll have someone on, I think around about 25 past 6. Who's going to be the next St Mirren manager? Willie's on, St Mirren fan. He was just listening to us there. He's been on 0808 17 17 700. He said, we can't wait till the end of the season to make an appointment, Barry. They've got to get somebody in soon.
I would agree with that totally. I think they're in trouble. Watching Kilmarnock on Saturday night, I was so impressed by Kilmarnock. I just thought their energy levels, and that will give them so much confidence, beating the league leaders. So, yep, St Mirren fans will be pretty worried at this moment in time. Look, I still look at St Mirren yesterday, and they've still got some good players, but you could see confidence is a bit low. The interim manager tried to play a different way. They were trying to get the ball down a wee bit more, but I just think it's important that they get it sorted as quickly as possible and they try and get away from that bottom, second bottom place.
Who would you take in as manager? I've got a name.
Yeah.
Neil Lennon.
Right.
I don't know if he'd be available.
okay.
I don't have a clue, but
Another big win for him at the weekend.
yeah,
So,
I would try.
right.
I would try and.
Wow.
I would try and get him. I don't know. Listen, I
Yeah.
don't. The film wouldn't be keen to let him go, but if they could get him out, that's the person I would. With the situation they're in just now, he would keep them away for the relegation zone. I'm pretty sure of that, and I think he would be good for next season as well.
You mentioned Stephen Naismith on Thursday.
I think that's who'll get it.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
pure guess. That's who I think he'll get it.
Stephen McGinn's name's come up. Our old colleague Barry, who we were on often with, but he's doing really well. They're working under John McGlynn.
Yeah, he's doing his apprenticeship. He was under 18 manager at
Yeah.
St Mirren, and obviously he's went to Falkirk under an experienced manager. And I just think sometimes it's good to just be somewhere and learn your trade for a few years. And I think that's what Stephen McGinn will do. But listen, he's going to be linked because he was a big player there. He was the captain at St Mirren. But it'll be interesting to see who they bring in, whether it's experience or whether it's somebody who's not got that much experience in the game as a manager. So it's a big decision that St Mirren will have to make.
Stephen Robertson now at Aberdeen 1-1 at the weekend. Hibs and Livy 0-0. Not too much to say about that one.
Strange,
Yeah.
wasn't it, how that came about so quickly, and that makes me wonder what's going on at Aberdeen.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think so.
they've been looking for a manager for 3 months. Obviously, 3 months ago, Stephen Robertson, St Mirren were absolute flying high, winning the cup.
Yep.
Yeah.
Why not go and make that decision there and then? And then you've got a January transfer.
I
window
think
as
they
well.
were thinking they can get better than that. They were looking abroad, which happens a lot, doesn't it? Even with players and managers, they look away from Scotland, and sometimes it's right under your nose.
And it's probably tough for Stevie Robinson because you know he was linked with Aberdeen, and that was in January, and then nothing happens till March.
It's a tough one for him, but listen, I think he's the type of character he'll believe in his own ability. He'll go up there and listen. One thing about the Aberdeen team now going forward, they'll be very well organised. I just thought watching Aberdeen over the last while, they've been all over the place.
They went back to a 3-5-2, didn't they? At the weekend, you heard the people speaking about it, and then I heard a fan phoning in some radio station, and he was just saying that it was exactly the same. It was just the same for the players. It was like nothing much changed. I think there's problems up there, and I think looking at the table, they could get dragged into that. They're only 6 points above Kilmarnock.
The only thing is he's only probably 1 day in the training ground. I'm sure this week, because obviously they go to Ibrox next Saturday, so he'll get a bit of work on the grass. You can't do that much in 1 day, really. So, but I do think I thought this is a decision that Aberdeen should have made Months ago.
Months ago.
I just don't understand what goes on up there.
Stevie, give us a call if you want to know where to live in the Aberdeen area, because you were up there for a couple of years.
Yep, I stayed in Peter Cooter. Nice wee place.
Yeah,
Where?
indeed.
Lovely and quiet. Peter Cooter, it was
Peter
called.
Cooter.
Peter Cooter.
Peter Cooter. I can't do it in an Aberdeen accent.
Oh, go on, you can.
Nah, I can't remember what
Aye.
they chat like up there.
Paul's on the line, a Rangers fan. Hi, Paul. Good evening.
Hi, Paul. I just, before I make my point, just about St Mirren.
Yeah.
Lightning could strike twice, I think, the last time, if you correct me if I'm wrong here, but the last time St Mirren won the League Cup, I think they got relegated that year.
Oh, wow.
So,
Surely not. It is a worry. I mean, they're joint second bottom. Livy on 15, as you know. Kelly and St Mirren on 24. Yeah.
what do you think about Robbie Nielsen? Is that a shout? He's managed in Scotland as well. He's over America.
Sure.
Done quite well at Hearts, didn't he?
Because Stephen A. Smith might not want to miss
I
the
didn't
World
even
Cup.
think about it. I've not been thinking about it, but the shout that Charlie gave a few minutes ago.
Neil Lennon.
Yep, he'll get a team organised. I think he's done a real good job at Dunfermline. Big victory a couple of weeks ago against Aberdeen, putting them out the cup. Another good win. It was a derby, wasn't it? Raith Rovers, they beat 3-0
that's right.
at the weekend. So it'll be interesting to see what route they go down. Did they go down the experience route, or did they go down somebody who's not been that experience in terms of being a manager for a long time?
Paul, we talk about the twists and turns. Look at the table at the top. 63, 61, 60. So Hearts, Celtic, Rangers. I bet you couldn't believe this a month ago. Are you going to win it?
Listen, we're in my shout, Paul. I think it wasn't a great game to watch on Sunday, but as Barry said on a number of occasions that he's managed Rangers, you just get the 3 points and you move on. I think and Barry's been in teams, and he'll probably tell you, Rangers didn't always win titles 4, 5, 6 nils and all that stuff. It was Walter Smith was one of the greatest managers, if not the greatest manager in Rangers, and he went through games where you'd win the 1-0 and just slog it out. So I thought that was the kind of style of game yesterday. And listen, St Mirren are fighting for their lives.
Yeah.
The guy that was doing the coach, the team did their best for him as well. So it's always going to be a tricky game. And Rangers go to pace all the time and they find it hard. So we got the 3 points, we move on. But
Aberdeen's going to be different, isn't it, for this weekend, Paul? You'll be there for the game.
New manager bounce. Stephen Robbie's off the team tight as a drum. But if we're going to win a title, there's no excuses now. We're out the cups and that, so Danny Rowe has to, as I say in your show all the time, that's a test of these big games against teams like this. So, but my point's about the refereeing, Paul. I know you're a Celtic fan on there saying about it from the Celtic point of view.
Yep.
But I watched the St Mirren game there, and Alec Gogic. Now, you can argue that he couldn't put his arm anywhere, but my argument is, I don't know if the guys agree or not, but I'm taking my blue tinted specs off, but I go back to the Celtic Rangers game, the one with Sterling. What's he meant to do with his arm? I mean, the last time I knew with the physical body, when you jump, your arms have to go in the air. I mean, the one that Simon Murray had, I'm starting to give up and just say, do you know what? Is it a penalty? Is it not a penalty? I mean, Willie Collum and the refereeing system need to get together about this. It's either consistency or it's no consistency, because there's other decisions where, if you remember, I'm going off tangent here a wee bit, Theo Monday gets sent off for...
Don't go too far.
Maybe Barry was the manager, I can't remember.
Right.
He sent off for nothing, and then I see Oxlade Chamberlain or Maeda getting off for one. It's not consistent across the board, and that's no Rangers and Celtic. That's whether it's Dundee or Dundee United or whoever.
Barry, what would you say the handball thing?
The handball rule is all over the place. That yesterday, watching it, and listen, I'm not going for a Rangers point of view. In my opinion, that's a penalty. I've seen penalties given. He makes a good point there. The Celtic game with Sean Sterling, that's even closer. I think his arm is away from his body. I've seen them given. I've seen them no given. I honestly just don't know what to think anymore.
I'm the same. I don't know how many times I've googled the handball rule this year,
I'm the same.
I still don't fully get what it is, because then you look at decisions and you don't understand. Like the Simon Murray one, it's like that's going nowhere near the goal.
See, when you were playing just 2 years ago,
did
you know then what the rules were? Really, I think you probably didn't.
No,
as a defender,
you don't know inside out. You're relying on human error, or you're relying on the referee to know exactly what the rules are. That was at the tail end of VAR. But now, I don't know. I mean, what is natural position, what isn't? I think that's a big thing. When you jump, Paul makes a good point. When you jump, your arms need to go up.
I mean, Charlie,
you can't jump your hands behind your back.
It's called elevation, Charlie.
Yeah. I go back to the douche on Sterling. I don't know what douche can do there.
I know.
I honestly don't. I don't. Well, you meant to jump with your arms at your side.
Yeah.
That's, for me, is unnatural.
Yeah. And it's the same with Trusty's one at Ibrox. I know it hit the arm that was right close to his body, but if it hit the outstretched arm, I guarantee it would have been given.
Mm-hmm.
But he can't slide in and block a shot with his arm beside his, not up in there. So I don't know, outstretched, away from his body, stop. I don't know. Ball going towards target. Surely that's got something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't get fully what they're doing, and there's definitely no consistency because some look exactly the same. And they're not given.
That is the issue they've got.
Yep.
Consistency. It's all over the place.
Danny Rule spoke after the game, after Rangers win, about his belief in the title. What does he think?
Honestly, our performances in the last couple of weeks, even the result was not there. I felt how strong we can press. We have a physical side. We have weapons in front. We can score nice goals. And if you bring all this together, then we can win a lot of games until the end of the season.
When the 8 games to go, and he spoke about the players.
Our mood was during the week okay. We were disappointed. We spoke about this, but we are also we recognize how strong was the performance. The performance, this is very important to understand, not the result, the performance. And with this, I see my group growing. And since I'm here, there's never a day where I think, they have so much doubt in the mind. No, they go again. And we are hungry, and not more. I know this is just a small step. 8 cup finals now, and in this stage of the season, it's about winning the cup finals.
There it is again, Barry. 8 cup finals. That's what, you used the word cup finals about 8 times on Friday, and that's a game at a time. What do you think about Conor Barron back on?
Good to see him. I thought before his injury, he was exceptional. For 2 months, he was getting a regular run of games. He was growing in terms of. He was dictating games in the middle of the pitch. Got a bad knee injury. Come on yesterday and looked lively.
Would you start him?
Yeah, I think he has to consider.
Who would you take out?
Good question. Probably.
Would you Chukwueze, Raskin?
Yeah, probably Chukwueze.
Would you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What would you do? What are you thinking about it, Charlie? Here's Danny Rule speaking about him.
Yeah, very happy. He worked really hard in the last couple of weeks, but especially on the 6th position, there's a big competition at the moment with Nico, Tochi, Connor, and Dio. I have 4 nearly available. I think Dio will also come back soon, and it's not easy for me because all these 4 deserve to play. How they train, all the 4 number 6s gives me different profiles. And just 2 can start. One will be on the bench, and one will be sometimes not in the squad. And this is tough, but it's not just this position. I think I also I can just highlight this a little bit. The competition on the left side here makes a fantastic job, but we have with Jaden a guy who is also on front foot who helps, and this is important.
Yeah, I think to fight for a title, you need to have competition for places. Now Barron and Diamande challenging Chukwueze and Raskin's going to get the best out of them. I think you need these players to challenge each other. And I think the 2 best would be Raskin and Chukwueze in there. But Barron obviously can do a job, and there's games where he's going to have to come on and play his part. Same as Diamande, and probably start a few games as well and provide that competition. No doubt the games in training will be intense because they'll be fighting to get in that team that are fighting to try and win a title. So that's what you want as a manager. You want the competition.
That's the problem you want.
Yep.
You've got 4 players going for 2 positions, and any one of the 4 of them, in my opinion, I've worked with 3 of them, and I know the qualities that they can bring. They 3, Nico, Dio and Connor were brilliant for me in the middle of the pitch. Chukwueze's come in, and he's a different profile. He's bigger and stronger and more of a physical presence. So it's good to have that mix, and it's brilliant to have that problem. That's what you want. That's the way it should be. at a club like Rangers.
And of course, it's Aberdeen, as you know, on Saturday, and that's his old club. And he's a local boy, isn't he? He's from the northeast.
He is. And listen, it's always tough coming from Aberdeen to Rangers. But listen, one thing about a young man, young Connor, is he's an absolute sponge. He's desperate to get better and learn. And one thing he always gives you is 100%. He's a little warrior, and it's brilliant to see him back because, as I mentioned, he was in real good form before he got that injury.
You happy enough with the 5:45 kickoff, Barry, for the game?
Nah,
it's
not
for the
really.
telly. I know it's a bit late, isn't it?
Saturday for me should be 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
I mean, even the game on Saturday there, Kilmarnock Hearts,
I know.
8 o'clock at night. You're ready for your scratcher in the second half.
You'll just finish that first bottle of wine.
Paul, final thought from you.
Aye, no, listen, I would say, not to make direct comparison, but Conor Barron is to me like a young Stuart McCall, a warrior in the midfield. I would say Chukwani for me is a starter ahead of him though. I think he's different class now, and I think, do you know who I'm really impressed with, Paul? And I don't know what the guys think. See, Tour Romans, I think he's going to be,
brilliant.
You know, I think he's going to be some signing. That guy, he's just, you know what I say? He's attacking, but he's also he's so confident at the back. He gives a bit of assurance to the back line, and I think that comes in goals. He's a great player.
He's been Rangers' best signing for me, what I've saw.
Hi, Charlie. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Just the way, sometimes you just see a player, the way he receives the ball and makes a pass, straight away you just know he's a good player, you know, and then he defends well, he's a proper footballer, he gets something down the pitch, and the amount of times he gets in the back post when the opposite fullback or winger's crossing the box, his movement, I think he's Rangers' pick of the signings.
Yeah.
He's been impressive. Good goal yesterday, as I said. Taking a gamble, that's what he's done, and he's had a real good finish, good energy, good presence about him as well. He's a good size, stood beside him, he's 6 foot. So yeah, he's definitely been a really good sign, and I still think there's more to come because he came with an injury. And it was interesting to hear he hadn't trained for a couple of days. You seen he had a strap on his thigh, so that tells me that he's all in. Even if he's got a niggle, he's willing to put his body through that.
A gladiator, isn't he? He looks a winner.
Yeah.
Aye.
How's James Tavernier? I mean, he's dropped at times, then he's back, he gives everything. What
Well,
did you feel?
I know he wouldn't cause any issues with being left out the team. He'll still try and motivate people. He'll be disappointed, he'll be frustrated, but listen, he came in yesterday and he done really well.
I would get Tavernier in the team for me, and I've said it on here before. I'd play him. I mean, you know him better than me, Barry, but I'd play him wide right. That can come inside and make the crosses for the kind of De Bruyne area with the edge of the box, or stay wide and deliver it. And Rangers can get more success doing that. I think that he's got a part to play. That he come on against Celtic and showed he's got sort of the best sort of cross in the Rangers team for set pieces as well. So I would be playing him.
Barry, would you play James
Would
Tavernier?
he
Yeah.
play right wing or?
Yeah, listen, he could. See, if you asked him to play, he would play. But if he goes to a back three, he can play wing back. He can play right in the three.
Jake Daniel's been a wee bit stubborn because he's not his player and he's brought other players in.
I don't think it's that. I just think he prefers other players.
Okay.
It's as simple as that.
I mean, the problem with Dujon Sterling, listen, an animal, brilliant player. Just got to be careful with Duj because he's had a lot of injuries, and the one he was out with was a right serious one. Your Achilles, rupturing your Achilles. So, look, again, that's why you've got a big squad. You need competition for places, and there's competition for places in that right side.
And Finlay Curtis, we're going to talk about him next. Paul, thanks for your call. 0808 1717 700.
The Go Radio Football Show with Burger King.
Yeah, the Scotland squad was revealed today by the manager, Stevie Clarke, ahead of the games with Japan and the Ivory Coast. And the big news is Finlay Curtis, who went down to Kilmarnock on loan from Rangers a few months ago and, of course, played really well at the weekend in their big win against Hearts. He's in the squad. The keepers are Scott Bain, Angus Gunn and Liam Kelly. Defenders Grant Hanley, Jack Henry, Dom Hyam, Ross McCrory, Scott McKenna, Nathan Patterson, Anthony Ralston, Andy Robertson, the captain, John Souttar, Kieran Tierney. Midfielders Ryan Christie, Lewis Ferguson, Billy Gilmer, Andy Irving, John McGinn, Kenny McLean, Scott McTominay and Lennon Miller. And strikers Shea Adams, Tommy Conway, Finlay Curtis, Lyndon Dykes and George Hurst. Barry, you know him well, Finlay Curtis. You played him this time last year. How pleased are you that he's broken into the Scotland squad?
Yeah, listen, it's brilliant for the young man. He made a big decision. I know Rangers were part of that as well. It would have been easy for Finlay to stay at Rangers and sit on the bench and getting an odd game here and there, or coming on for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but he wanted to go and play, and he's had that opportunity under Neil McCann at Kilmarnock, and he's really flourished, and I think it's brilliant for his development. I watched him on Saturday night, and I thought he was excellent. They left a diamond. He was really good, and I noticed Steve Clark was there. So obviously he's kept an eye on him, and he's impressed him that much that he's got the call up. And listen, the young man will go and embrace it, because I know what sort of attitude he's got. He's got a brilliant attitude, and he'll go far in the game. Not just because he's a good player, because of his attitude.
Was he unlucky that Mikey Moore came in just at a time when he could have got more game time? Yeah,
but it's not just about Mikey Moore. I think if you look at other players, Sama, you look at Scovolson, and he just probably looked at it and thought he's going to be limited. And it's easy for young players just to sit there and be fine with that. But no, he's got a drive and a determination, and good on him. I like to see that for young players. Going out and experience a different side of the game. That's what's happening at Kilmarnock, because they're fighting for their lives down there. So there's different pressures that come in football. He's seeing a different side of it at Kilmarnock, and I think it will benefit the young man big time, because I know who's working under Neil McCann and Billy Dodds. They'll work really hard with him, and he'll come back to Rangers in the summer a far better player than he left.
Charlie?
Yeah, it's good to see that he's getting an opportunity, because we don't have loads of wide men that are creative. Don't know, is he quick? Does he get pace?
He's a very strong runner.
Very strong runner. So with the players that we've got out, Doak was the one winger that we obviously wanted Harvey Barnes, but he chose England. So Finlay Curtis is one that comes in and can add to that sort of strong runner, goal threat, and somebody who can definitely help the squad.
Here's Steve Clark, who, as Barry mentioned, was there.
I thought he was quick, direct, tries to make things happen. I went to watch him live at the weekend. I thought he was decent. Everybody keeps going on about me. I don't evolve the squad or change the squad. I've always tried to introduce young players when I feel it's the right time to introduce them, and Finlay fits into that category. He didn't want to sit on the bench at Rangers and get 10 minutes here and 5 minutes there. He wanted to go out and play 90 minutes every week, and that's a big thing for me.
Yeah, well, he is very loyal to the players. That if you look at that squad there, I mean, when I look at Anthony Ralston that's in it, Colby Donovan is currently starting ahead of him at Celtic. I know Steve Clark was at the game at Celtic Park on Saturday as well. He would have saw that, but he's loyal. He likes Ralston. He's had him at the Euros, had him playing in his team at times. So yeah, he sticks to who he trusts a lot of the time. And now he's brought Curtis in. It's somebody that there needs to be a couple of more forward players coming in over between now and the World Cup, because we struggle in that final third and with creativity and wingers and pace, and hopefully Finlay Curtis can be that one that steps in.
I've not seen a lot of Donovan. Who's better, Donovan or Ralston?
If I had to lean towards MD now, I would go Donovan. I don't think there's much in it, Barry, to be honest with you. It's literally a toss.
He's a good size.
Yeah, he's decent, and it's literally a toss of a coin. Anthony Ralston's got more experience, obviously, with Scotland caps and played more games, but Colby Donovan definitely earned his chance. He's obviously doing something right in training, because he started ahead of Ralston Saturday. Ralston's come on. So I would, if I had to hang my hat on it now, I would go Colby Donovan as sort of just a wee bit ahead of Ralston right now.
And of course, we've only got under 3 months now, Charlie, can you believe it, until the World Cup.
Yeah,
so these are really important squads to see them.
Yeah.
John McGinn back for Villa. My goodness, they missed them.
Yeah.
But we've had quite a few injuries in the squad. And of course, there's the keeper out again, Craig Gordon, he'd have been number one.
What's up with Craig Gordon? What is the injury?
I
I'm
don't
not
know
sure
exactly.
what it is.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
But he was back in for Hearts. Then he did have an injury, didn't he? And then he lost his place again, because he would be number one.
But he's injured just now.
Yep.
No.
Yeah.
I wonder if is it long term or short term?
I think he's been injured for a wee while now, but I don't know exactly what the injury is, because he would be playing.
Yeah.
Well, you look at the three goalkeepers, the only one that's playing regular is Scott Bain.
Yeah, and he has done really well. I know at the weekend to get caught out It always happens to a keeper at some point, doesn't it? You'd see the highlight. He was unlucky.
Yeah. I think
Or he was.
Do you not think he was?
I know he was. He's played really well, and then I was remembering the goal at the weekend where.
No, Scott Bain's a good goalkeeper. John McGlynn obviously has him playing a certain way, which sometimes mistakes come like that, where you play high and you play with your feet. But listen, he's a good goalkeeper who makes good saves for Falkirk. He's made them a better team, and he'll add to the Scotland squad. I think Angus Gunn will probably play though, even though Scott Bain's the one that's playing. I think he's pretty loyal. It's between Angus Gunn and Craig Gordon, and obviously Craig Gordon will be in the squad. You'd imagine Angus Gunn will play, but. Yeah, looks like know a lot of surprises in the squad. John McGinn potentially play wide. We know a lot of wingers. Finlay Curtis maybe plays well. And at the other side, but strong area, that midfield.
One of the stories, speculation, Barry, we've heard it a few times. Andy Robertson, contract's up in the summer, and would he go to Celtic? Would Celtic go for him, given that they've got Kieran Tierney?
Cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then you've got Kieran Tierney there that I would imagine's probably the highest paid player. But it's been spoken about now for a number of months, and I'm interested to see if that happens. I don't know if they would need him, if I'm being honest.
Charlie?
Andy Robertson's a great player, and if Kieran Tierney wasn't there, then you'd think bring him in. But you could then even argue is for a left back or a full back to put that budget. I mean, I don't know what Andy Robertson would be looking for, but you imagine he would be wanting a hefty wage, and then for the money Celtic are spending, you would want to put that into a striker or a forward player. A full backs, I mean, they're both brilliant players, but at the end of the day, they're only full backs, and there's only so much you can do. I mean, Tierney was brilliant Saturday with his aggression and smashing into people. But you don't want him and Robertson fighting for a left back position, taking up a huge bit of the chunk of the wage. You need forward players and strikers in there that are taking up that wage.
Back on Scotland, Barry. What about Lewis? How is he at the moment? We haven't seen him as much this season as.
No, he's been in and out of the team. He wasn't. I noticed he wasn't in the squad at the weekend.
Oh yeah,
for Bologna. Yeah. So it's been a bit of a stop-start season for him. He plays a game, comes out, comes back in. It's not been consistent. That's the way the Bologna manager kind of operates. He kind of plays a team for the Europa League, and then he plays a different team for league games. I don't really like that. I like a bit of consistency with your team. So it's been a bit up and down from this season. But listen, good to see he's in the Scotland squad, and listen, buzzing that he's going to be going to a World Cup, because unfortunately he missed the Euros the last time with his knee injury.
And Billy Gilmour being played by the manager now, the coach is playing him, and he's also been praising him last week.
Yeah, brilliant player. He's a right good player for Scotland. He's one of the ones that goes and gets the ball for the back four and plays through the lines, and is really brave to take possession. Although Scotland usually operate Steve Clarke out of possession and are happy to spend long spells without it, there comes a time where you need to take in cup or any international game where you're going to have a bit of the ball, and Billy Gilmour's one that is brave. It's his strongest point in his game is taking the ball in tight areas and playing passes, playing through the lines, getting the team ticking, dictating the tempo, similar to what Callum McGregor does for Celtic. So it's good to see that he's playing and he's up to speed. He's got a part to play in the World Cup.
Quick break for the news. Remember, somebody is going to win. Well, it could be £500 in the next hour. Also, Charlie's getting his map ready in case he's off to Gorgie Roads. We're not so sure now. I can imagine Derek McInnes, though, will be just desperate to show.
Outfit's ready to go, Paul. It's theirs to lose.
Is it?
Yeah.
News is next, then we're back.
The Go Radio Football Show with Burger King. Watch live at 5 p.m. weekdays on YouTube. Join the conversation on 0808 17 17 700. Talking Scottish football first.
We sure are. We spoke to the managers after the games at the weekend. We heard Stevie Clarke today speaking about Finlay Curtis. What do you think about Scotland, the games coming up? 0808 17 17 700. And the race for the title. Is it going to be Hearts, who've led since October? It's been, the pressure must be on you. And yet, Derek McInnes, who's wily old fox, he's not an old fox, but you know him well, both of you, and it would be brilliant for him. I know people say that'd be great for Hearts. It'd be great for him, wouldn't it, Derek, personally, to win the title?
Of course it would. And he's shown that when they've had a defeat or a draw, he's got them responding well. When people have started to doubt them, and a couple of times they've been accused of collapsing this year. So that's why I still think it's Hearts to lose. They're in that driving seat.
Let's take a couple.
The big test is next week. What's the reaction going to be like against Dundee? Because Stephen Presley's got Dundee playing well. You were at the game. I never seen the game yesterday, but Dundee were one of the favourites for me to go down. That's what I said. But I've seen them a few times this season, and
Congreve and Yogan are a real threat for them. The wingers, real threat. They do really well for them. He's done well with that recruitment.
Yeah, Hearts against Dundee on Saturday. Gary is on from the Gorbals. Hi, Gary. Good evening.
Right, Gary.
Evening, Paul. Evening, Barron and Charlie.
Right, Gary.
Good to hear you. How you doing?
Yeah, all good. Just reminiscing a year ago today, we lifted the League Cup against Liverpool, so just watching the game back. But obviously, great performance for Celtic on Saturday against Motherwell. First time I've kind of enjoyed watching this in a long while. But yeah, it's as I say, it's going to be a nervy run into the title. I'm looking at some of the possibilities of the split. You know, who's going to have the home games and the away games, and who might be at home in the last game of the season. Obviously, we need to wait officially until Falkirk get that top 6 spot, because they're going to get it now. Like they're far too far ahead.
Yeah, I would think so. The game could be early, Barry. You reckon? The derby, the Old Firm, could be.
It could. Don't be surprised if it's the first one after the split.
Have you told them what you want?
Not yet, but I will.
They'll be listening. They'll be watching. Charlie, do you?
I'm buzzing to see the draw, see what it's like, see when they play the game, because I can't see it being a late title decider. I don't know if they want that. That could be carnage. So I reckon, I think it was Mark said a few weeks ago, he reckons that the Celtic v Hearts, Hearts v Rangers, and Celtic v Rangers will be the first kind of three within the first three weeks.
And England,
Falkirk are going to finish in the top 6,
aren't they? For sure.
Yeah, so they're 9 points ahead with 3 games to go.
Yeah,
the bookies are in England, Barry. It's 10-1 on, isn't it, for Arsenal after the results at the weekend? Whereas up here, Hearts were the favourites a week ago or 2 weeks ago, just before we went into the Scottish Cup quarter-finals. So I don't know who it is today. Not massive on
Celtic.
Myself. Is it Celtic?
I think Celtic. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Celtic are just slight favourites now.
Followed by Hearts or Rangers?
I think it might be Hearts.
Okay. Gary, what do you think? Is Martin O'Neill going to take you? In fact, let's hear a little bit. He was speaking about Yang. We heard him earlier, and he spoke a bit more about him.
Yang, he was sensational. Really, really great. Obviously scored the goals, big boost, and but it was the work that he did going backwards as well too. So I wouldn't know what sort of distances he covered today, but it would have been immense.
And as you know, he was almost away in the summer.
Yeah, and to be fair, I don't think there would have been many kind of misses almost in terms of if he'd went in the summer. I don't think there would have been many Celtic fans that probably would have even complained about that decision. But looking at some of his performances this season, that last night, he's a player that, for me, he blows hot and cold. I don't know what the boys think, but I think he blows more cold than hot. But when he's on it, you know, he's a really good player. I thought he was even really good in January for like the first 55, 60 minutes against Rangers. But he was brilliant in Saturday.
The one thing that Yang will always give you is work rate. So see, when we were told for a young age, Gordon Strachan was big on that. If you're having a bad game, run yourself into a good game. So regardless of how you're playing, make sure you're running about, and he does that. He is everywhere, up and down the right hand side. Sometimes his position's miles off, but he goes all the way back. But he's shown that willingness to defend. A lot of wingers aren't, and Saturday got his rewards with 2 good goals with the running performance on top of it. And the minute you put that all together, he looks like a real good player. He just needs to be more consistent with that.
His attitude, he just got the ball out the net, didn't he? Let's get back up. He didn't hang about.
It came at a good time, that goal, Paul. I wouldn't have liked to have seen if it went in 1-0 to Motherwell, because it might have been a touchy start to the second half, bit of groans, because they were beginning to come, and I could feel it myself, but then Yang eased the pressure with that goal, and then you just felt Celtic would go and win after that.
Gary, what is the fan watch by that? I mean, what was it like in the stadium? I mean, all the chat there's been about the Green Brigade are not there. It's not as noisy as it normally would be. What did you feel?
Yeah, I mean, the atmosphere was decent crowd again, and hopefully come the last 8 games of the season, we're going to see Celtic Park more full kind of thing, in terms of whether the Green Brigade are going to be there or not. I think the fans need to really turn up and get behind the team. If Martin O'Neill goes and delivers this league title, as I said before, like, build him a statue, because it will be one of the most phenomenal Celtic wins in my lifetime, to be fair. Like, it's not been a pretty season all over kind of thing for us. You know, I think there's been parts where Hearts have looked really, really good and really strong and deserve where they should be, and then, you know, Motherwell have been one of the teams this season to watch. Falkirk, as we mentioned earlier on, you know, they've been a revelation for this league, to be fair, this season, and they deserve a place in the top 6. But just for me, I mean, you look at the difference, I think the players, I mean, for me, Sranchara still isn't really showing enough for me as a striker. I still don't think he gives enough, but when you look at the difference in Oxlade-Chamberlain, he looks a wee bit more at himself kind of thing. He was spraying 30-yard passes across, cross-ball passes across the pitch like he was down in the Premier League. And it was just like the experience I think he'll bring for the running as well will be massive for us. But just in terms of, like, obviously when you look at, I don't know if it's picked up, but when we scored the penalty, a lot's been made about Rio Hatate, and myself as well. I've kind of been critical of him, but in terms of down and tools. But I think when you seen his reaction, he ran in case Sranchara missed. Obviously, the big man tucked it away, and he just almost dropped to his knees and was pounding the pitch.
Right.
That shows you how much it obviously means to him. Kind of thing.
I think
so that was great to see.
I've been critical of Tati as well, but I've never ever thought he's down tools, because I don't believe players deliberately down tools. I think there's confidence issues. There's different things it can be, and I think Martin O'Neill really got the best of him in the last few games. He's really turned
Charlie,
up.
Do you not think Dyson's down tools though, in terms of obviously stories about, you know, he wanted a move away in the summer and it didn't materialise?
Gary, I'll be honest with you, I don't.
What Dyson's seen.
I don't think players down tools. I think when players are not feeling confident, or they're a bit disappointed that they never maybe get a move, or they're a bit disillusioned, sometimes it can look like they're down in tools. But I don't think a player ever. I've never met a player that goes on the pitch and thinks, "I'm not trying today because I'm in a huff, or I don't like it here." I think sometimes you look like you've got the weight on your shoulders because the way you're feeling. It's like anything in life. I mean, if you're not happy and you're not sort of thriving in your situation or the current situation you're in, then you look like you're kind of not interested and not trying. But again, whatever, players go through it in spells in their careers. But Martin O'Neill's managed to get these players, all the staff deserve credit, but also the players do individually. Dyson Maeda was flying about into tackles. Yang was the same. Hatate was the same. They seemed a bit more confident, and they seemed a bit more back to themselves at the weekend.
Barry, you've come right up against those two just this time last year, Maeda and Hatate. Hatate seemed to be off it, but in the last few weeks he's back.
Yeah, I agree. I just think they're going through. Every player goes through a stage in their career where they're not hitting the heights. I don't think it's anything to do with a commitment thing, or they don't try. I personally, when I played football, I never played with anybody who never gave 100%. They always tried their best. They just were off it a bit, and that's just generally what happens with footballers. But in terms of Hatate, you've seen the last couple of weeks now he's starting to get back to what we all know, because I think he's a very good midfield player. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
I thought you were going to say hopeless. Somebody was maybe hopeless.
I don't think any player
so many great players.
I don't think any professional would benefit from down in tools. I think that it's
your job as well.
That's how sometimes it looks. It looks like that. Okay, he's not interested, and I've thoughts. You go, is that? But it's not. It's just a lack of confidence and
you feel heavy, don't you?
Yeah,
like
you feel unfit.
You feel heavy legged, and it's
you feel anxious because all that pressure builds, and all of a sudden you don't look as fit, you don't look as quick, you look like you're towing a caravan. Well, I did anyway. That's when I was flying. And then you just all of a sudden you look like you're uninterested, but you're just every bit inside you wants it to change and wants you to get back to playing well and feeling fit and running at your best. It's the same when you're absolutely at your peak and your flow. You look like you're giving everything.
But the public, the fans, don't really realise you're human beings. Do you know what I mean? They're expecting Dyson Maeda of last season. He was packed up, ready to go, and then at the last minute, it didn't happen. He's all human. I take it he's got a partner, he's got a wife, he's got children, or
Yeah,
whatever.
and you can be
they're ready to move.
disappointed, but you need to get over that quickly.
Sure, I know.
Yeah. Obviously, you're wanting a move.
Yep.
A move doesn't materialise, then you know what? Then you need to get on with it and just go and show your qualities until the next window opens.
Yeah.
Gary, here's Martin O'Neill today. Listen into this one. It's about the injury update.
Julian I'm hoping that he should be all right for next week. And the answer is I don't know. You think I should, but things seem to change all the time. I didn't realise that. For instance, just even Casper trained yesterday. Yeah, he's definitely got a bit of a problem with it, but you're hoping that it wouldn't have been as long as he's suggesting. But we'll see where we are. Julian has had a bit of a thigh strain. It's one of those you're hoping it's not going to be as serious as Arne, but it may be. So I'm sorry I can't give you any. And I seem to just contradict myself most of the time. So by Tuesday, I'll have a totally different update. Honestly. So, and you'll think to yourself, is he trying to play games? The answer is I'm not. I just genuinely don't know.
Charlie, do you know?
No.
So Rocco,
he's brilliant, isn't he?
See, Rocco's brother has replied to a Celtic fan saying he could stay at Celtic next season. So we're not trading on that one. But do you think Celtic could?
No.
Could afford him? No.
I just think Alistair Johnson, saw him at the weekend, and he says he's close to coming back.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't think Arroyo's is better than him, although he's became a bit of a cult hero and fan favourite with the way he's shown the passion, which is brilliant to see. I don't think he's better than Alistair Johnson, and it's different if you were getting him for a cut price and he was there as a player to back up Alistair Johnson, or he plays part in the squad. But for 9 million, it's been mentioned. No, again, as a fullback, as for a fullback,
9 million.
Is that was mentioned, wasn't it?
Yep.
9 million. I heard
Barry?
that.
No, he's nowhere near as good as Alistair Johnson. Look, he's come in and filled a gap while he's been injured, but no, if Charlie said Alistair Johnson's no far away, and when he's fit, he's the number one right back.
Gary, you agree?
I have to disagree,
All
to
right.
be honest.
Okay.
I would pay the money if I'm obviously not going to pay 9 million, but like if you can get a cut price deal for him, honestly, because the boy just gets Celtic. Honestly, he's just, as I say, he's a bit of a cult hero. Maybe we're riding on the crest of a wave now. I don't know. But obviously, his late goal at Kilmarnock and his performances against Rangers. But for me, maybe he injured himself swinging on that pole in the town or something in the nightclub after
the Pipes and Wonder Bar, wasn't it?
Aye.
See what happens when you square up against Rangers players and you swing for a crossbar. You become a cult hero, and you should sign him.
Yeah. Some money.
Do you think he's better than Alistair Johnson,
No,
Gary?
no way.
I don't think he's better than Alistair Johnson, but for me, Alistair Johnson doesn't walk back into that team right away.
He doesn't.
I think he's got to dislodge him. Honestly, I really do. I think the kind of that kind of back four that we've got. Obviously, you could kind of switch Tierney and Sirachi for in terms of injuries and all the rest of it. And I think obviously Tierney's our number one there, and Sirachi can come on and play half an hour here, or Sirachi can come in and play certain games. But I think for me, I think the boy Arthur is obviously he's kind of done well in coming in, because for long enough it looked like he was going to be another Simpson Pussy where he wasn't going to play. It was a loan sign and it was just there for the sake of being there.
Yeah.
But for me, I think he's looked decent so far, and I think, to be honest, when obviously Trusty comes back in, I think you can see maybe Trusty dislodging Arthur. But for me, I don't think AJ walks right back into that team.
I think it also depends what Celtic have got in mind for Alistair Johnson. If they think that in a year's time they can sell him and take the money, then you've got somebody sitting right there ready to go. But again, it would need to be for a price that's a lot less than 9 million. You can't, Celtic can be in the market for selling buying fullbacks for £9 million. I just don't think that's where things are. If you're spending that money, it's on striker and forward players.
Jimmy's on, and he's a Celtic fan, saying if you signed a Rocco, you're basically telling Colby Donovan you're not going to be needed at all.
Yeah, it's a good point again, and then players need to see where there's a road through and a pathway through. It would be harsh on Colby Donovan, but if he wants to be a Celtic player, then he needs to prove that he's better than better than these players and can start ahead of them, because that's the nature of being at Celtic and I've been at a big club.
Martin O'Neill spoke about the goal scorer, the penalty taker, Chavanchara.
He took the penalty, yeah. I think he took the ball off Alex, believe it or not. So that was big, because that's everything riding on the game. He took the penalty. Obviously had a bit of confidence from scoring on Sunday. But it was a big moment because, like a lot of us, we still have to win the crowd over. And so he took it, and that's well done to him. And he helped make the goal for Yang, the last goal, which gives you a bit of a cushion.
Barry, we haven't seen you since the big game last weekend, which went to the penalties, and Chavanchara scored that final penalty. How do you feel over the two games with Celtic? A chance lost in the cup, obviously, and
yeah, you can't dominate a game like that and not come away with a win. They just weren't clinical enough, Rangers. There's no doubt they dominated the full 120 minutes, but at the end of the day, they're not in a semi-final, so it's a chance lost. What happened after it, I don't really want to speak about it, because it just wasn't. It just made me feel empty, if I'm being honest with you. Both sets, and I'm not going Rangers or Celtic, just what happened, the aftermath and vandalism and all sorts. It just, for me, I'm always a big believer in it's the best game there is. There's no doubt about that. But that just left a sour taste in my mouth after it. But in terms of the game, yep, you want to be getting to semi-finals and finals, and it was an opportunity lost for Rangers. And
with Celtic coming to Ibrox, and then when we heard the news in the morning, no Kieran Tierney and no Callum McGregor, you thought, oh my goodness. Especially, Callum McGregor, who's played just about every game.
Two big players, two players that have got a lot of experience in that game. And when I seen the lineups, I thought, right, this is an even bigger opportunity for them. But they never took it, Rangers. It's really disappointing. Now you can only focus on one thing. You've got one more trophy to go for. You've got 8 games left, and you need to empty the tank in eight of the games.
Gary, Hearts still going to win the league for you, do you think? Or is it your Celtic? Or is it going to be Rangers? What do you feel?
It's going to be interesting. 3 points separating. There's not a lot of goals in there as well. In terms of the difference, Motherwell's going to have a massive say. They're out of it, obviously, but they'll have a massive say. Right. So I think in terms of we're the form team now, we looked a lot better out the free over the weekend, to be fair. And I just hope we can we've got to take it one game at a time and hope that they can get over the line. As I said, I'm not looking forward to it, to be honest.
You'll love it.
As Martin O'Neill said before, if we were in the top of the league, but we'll bring it on anyway. So.
All right, Gary, thank you so much for your call. 0808 17 17 700. Next after the break, Scott is coming on to pick your pundit, and you could win up to £500. That's next.
Win on Go with Scottish Gas. With Scottish Gas Peak Save, get half-price electricity every Sunday from 11 a.m. till 4 p.m. Smart meter required. Eligibility and terms apply.
Monday, 6:25. That means it's time to pick your pundit with Scottish Gas. We're going to give you the chance to win up to £500. On the line tonight, trying to win is Scott, a Rangers fan from Denny. Hi, Scott.
Hi, guys. How are you doing?
All right, Scott.
Good.
How you doing, Scott?
Evening.
Great. That's Barry Ferguson, Charlie Mulgrew, as you know. Do you know how it works? I've got a question here for the pundits, for Barry and Charlie, with a various number of answers available, and they'll list how many they can answer. The pundit that says they can answer the highest number is worth 500. The lower number is worth 250. It makes sense to you?
Yeah, I've heard it before. Yeah.
You know, that's cool. So tonight, and I told them during the break, I have a list of the top 20 Scottish Premiership scorers since the rebrand in the late 1990s. How many can you name? Okay, so I've got a list of 20 here. So how many, Charlie? What do you think?
I'm confident on 10.
Okay, 10. Okay. You've got to, if you get any of them wrong, then you lose the money. I know.
I've crossed a couple out.
See, during the break, switched a wee bit. What do you think, Barry? We can go 11.
I'm going 11.
Exactly.
I'm going to go 11.
Right. So, Charlie will get you. Charlie's. Are you confident on 10? Yeah.
Never confident.
You're not.
because
Okay.
he's-
Yeah.
I'm confident on 11.
Okay.
Right, you ready to rock?
So, if Barry gets it right, it's £500 for you. Be great,
Yeah,
Scott,
I mean,
wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be amazing. Yeah,
What would you do with the 500?
I'll probably put it in the holiday fund. Got a couple of holidays booked, so yeah, put it in that.
Tell us where
Scott,
you're going.
you're putting me under severe pressure here.
Don't let my wee daughter down.
Oh.
Oh my goodness! Yeah. What's her name?
Lucy.
Lucy.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
I know, I'm under
Right,
pressure
okay.
here. Right.
Barry. Okay. Top.
Top scorers, well,
Yes.
one for me
Yeah.
last season, Cyril Dessers.
Cyril Dessers is on the list.
He is.
Yep.
Top goal scorer last year.
Yep. Let me just make sure, because I'm checking with James here. List the top 20 Scottish Premiership scorers since the rebrand in the 1990s. So it's not. It's okay. Don't worry. That's not. So he's not on the list. So I'll explain
No, wait
what
a
it is. It's the.
hold on a minute. Stewards
it's the-
inquiry.
There's a
Right.
stewards inquiry here. We get
So
asked the wrong
no,
question.
it's the 20 top scorers. So it's not the top
I
scorer
thought
of
it was
the
the
season.
last scored for the last
No,
20
That's
years.
what I've done as well.
That's what we've done.
But how many did you say?
11.
Yeah, you'll be fine, right? I mean, James, you're the adjudicator. So it's the top scorers in the
well,
last.
I've
many,
no time, man.
Many do you want to go?
I'll go 10. Am I doing it or are you doing it?
Go for
I
it.
get asked
Yeah.
the question.
Go for
Did
it,
you
we're
think
live.
it was the
Yeah.
top 20 goal scorers?
I thought the same.
Aye.
Yeah,
Right,
I thought
okay.
that as well.
Yep, okay.
Aye, exactly. So, well, I could give you wrong answers here, and he's losing.
He won't lose it. I don't think he'll lose it. Right, so
Go on.
give us the first
Chris
one.
Boyd,
Absolutely. Correct. Next one.
Henrik Larsson.
Absolutely.
But I've got the
Correct.
I've got
Yep.
the top goal scorers each season,
Okay.
roughly.
Yeah. I think I might make an executive decision and change it to that then. Yeah. Okay. Right. Let's go for it. Yep. Next one.
Is that what you've
Don't worry.
got, Charlie?
Yeah.
Be
Yes,
honest.
yes, I
Be
did.
honest. What have you
I
written
did.
down?
Okay.
So I've the exact same as you.
Fine.
Right.
I've
okay.
went for top
Next one.
scorers in individual seasons, but I think the list looks pretty similar.
Okay. Exactly.
Kyogo was one of the top goal scorers.
Correct. He was. Yep. Okay.
Right, so what
Yep.
one now?
That's 3.
I've got John
So-
Hartson,
John Hartson, 4. Correct.
I've got Kenny Miller,
Kenny Miller. Yes. 98 goals. Yep.
I've got Lee Griffiths.
Lee Griffiths. Do you know what? He's third top. 121 goals. Chris Boyd, 217.
This has mixed me up.
Don't
now, 'cause
worry,
I was
Henrik
going for-
Larsson. See, Barry is so organised, so I get it how you work.
Did you
we're
honestly
live
think
in
that was the question?
Exact same as you, aye.
Right, just in case I'm getting
no,
it
no,
wrong
don't
here.
worry. Move on. Henrik
doing well,
Larsson,
you're doing well, come on.
168 goals. Lee Griffiths, 121. Kenny Miller, 98.
Wee Lucy wants her
Yeah.
holiday here.
John
I know.
Hartson, 88.
How many,
Yeah.
Matt?
We're at, is that 6? So, Ranger striker that the referees was always in trouble a few years ago.
Morelos.
Correct. You know how many goals he scored? Morelos, how many he had? 78 goals. Yep.
I've got another Celtic player here.
Okay.
Gary Hooper.
Gary Hooper. One of the top. Okay, go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is he?
Well, otherwise you wouldn't have said it. Next one. Still striker. Scotland. Hearts.
It's Lon Shanklin.
Correct.
I've got him down. He's
Yep,
here.
good.
But yeah, it's just that you've
4, 5, 6,
How
7,
many
8,
are we
10.
on here?
I think we're just about there, James, aren't we? Yeah. One more. Who do we think? So, somebody you played alongside? Yeah.
Yeah.
Scored helicopter Sunday, didn't
Scott McDonald.
he? Correct. Yes.
I've
one
got him
more.
down.
That's it. Well done.
Got him down.
That's it. You've won £500. Scott.
Well done, Barry.
Listen, do you know
Oh,
what?
we got there in the end.
My head was
Yeah.
away there because
Well, you
I
came
thought
back, you rallied
I know,
well.
but I thought
I'm
it was
glad
a
that wasn't me because I'd
Yeah.
done the same as you.
Honestly, I'm sweating. I'm sweating. I was just thinking about Lucy.
Of course.
Yes.
Exactly. Barry was going to send you 500 anyway.
That's good.
If
we got
it
there.
wasn't with Scottish Gas.
Oh,
Yes.
thank
Scott,
God for that.
Absolutely.
I was under
Brilliant.
pressure. I was
Yeah.
sweating.
Well done.
I did think the question at
Yeah.
the break was
Yeah.
who was the top scorers in the last 20 years in the Premier League.
I'll take the fine at the end. I'm sure.
Did you think that, Charlie?
Exactly the same
All right,
as
okay,
you, mate.
no, I've got
I did
that.
exact same as you
All right,
there.
Do you think that, Scott?
You responded well. You done well.
Well, I did, yeah.
Listen, he's thinking more about the £500 he's going to get from
I'm just
Scottish
glad,
Gas.
glad he won it.
That's the
and
main
he's-
thing.
he's
Exactly. Yeah.
got in towards the kitty, or he would have been looking for me.
Barry answered 2 questions there, man. That deserves a
Yeah.
hand.
Scott, Scott, who?
That shout, Charlie. I like that.
Scott, who were your favourite strikers?
Super Ali. Super Ali.
Yeah.
Aye, it's got to be.
Number 1. Yep. David Cooper was my all-time Rangers hero, but Ali was not far behind.
No. Davy Cooper, what a
Oh,
man,
what a player.
wasn't he? And what a player. Yep.
Yeah, what a player.
We often-
Elegant left foot.
For sure. Charlie, you'll have heard all the stories about Davy Cooper.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
never saw him play, but
No.
heard he was very good, more than very good.
And Scott, what about Rangers at the moment then? It looked as though it was going to be a season in the wilderness. Danny Rose come in. You're 3 points off the top.
Yeah, horrendous start. I mean, the draws killed us at the start of the season. We changed the manager. It had to happen. But yeah, I mean, Danny Rule's done a great job. But yeah, I mean, we've had a few draws recently, and that might kill us in the end. But I mean, 3 points yesterday. It wasn't pretty, but 3 points is 3 points.
And what do you think of the Scottish game anyway? Barry, Charlie often say it's underestimated. Some of the football up here it's so engrossing. People, look at England this season where Arsenal are kind of running away with it. Do you think it's underestimated in Scotland?
Absolutely. There's much more excitement up here. I mean, the league table tells a story as well. I mean, yesterday I ended up watching the Dundee derby rather than the Premier League game. Much more exciting. And then obviously the end was, it was mind-blowing.
That was crazy.
It looked like it was petering out to me. 90 minutes, looked at the stats, and Dundee hadn't had a shot on target yet. Although they had a bit of sort of crosses into the box and bits and pieces in the final third, they never did any shots, and then they go and score the 2 goals. Dundee United had 24 shots on the goal, and then obviously lose it. I don't know how they get back to drawing
Seen
that game.
Jim Goodwin's interview after.
Devastated.
Oh,
that was a sore one.
Oh, he was beeling.
Ashen-faced, wasn't he?
No wonder.
Yeah.
Do you know the thing is, he does a lot of his prep is crosses in the box. A lot of his defending. He loves nothing more than heading the ball at the box, so that would have hurt him so much.
Of course, and he gave it away.
2
didn't he?
crosses to in the last couple of minutes.
He gave away the foul and then gets the own goal.
Yeah,
at the end.
Yeah,
it was pretty thing. Anyway, so
yep, brilliant,
exciting stuff.
In Scotland, are you going to be following Scotland for the World Cup?
Well, one of my holidays, I'm going over to Toronto, but obviously Scotland are not there. But yeah, I'll be there for the World Cup experience. But yeah, certainly I'll be following Scotland, the Scotland games, even though they're on quite late at night. But yeah, definitely be watching them.
And the title race, do you think you're going to win? Being a Rangers fan, do you think it is going to come, or do you think it's just you're going to be pipped by either Hearts or Celtic?
Well, I hope it happens, obviously.
Sure,
but as I said earlier, I think the draws might kill us. The Celtic home game was a big opportunity missed. 2-0 up at half time, stadium bouncing, and then pulled the plug. So it wasn't great. That might be the game that costs us, but we don't know. We're still in there fighting.
Yeah. And Danny Rule, you trust in Danny?
Well, he's unproven, but he's certainly steadied the ship and taken us forward after the Russell Martin failure. I mean, it was a shame that Barry didn't get the job. I thought he made a good fist of it last season. I was over in Istanbul and he gave me a great night over there. So yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. Barry, Istanbul.
Yeah, listen, it's one of it's just mad thinking back. It was we were totally written off.
Absolutely.
Going over to play against one of the favourites, if not the favourites for the competition, and we kind of sprung it upon the players a couple of days before that we were going to play a total different way, what they've been used to. And but listen, they took all the information in, and I thought in the night, I'm sure Scott will agree, we were worthy winners, under a wee bit of pressure at times, but we were actually disappointed to come away with only 3-1 because a couple of disallowed goals, which were debatable, if I'm being honest with you. But listen, it was a brilliant night, and it was brilliant to see the fans there, and they were absolute bouncing after it.
And how's Mourinho over there? I remember I saw him at Ibrox, and obviously he came to the dressing room and came in.
Of course, he wasn't happy after the game, was he? But listen, I'm fine with that. But to come up against somebody like that, who's obviously managed at the top level for 20 odd years and won the Champions League and Premier Leagues, Serie A titles. It was a big one for us to come up against them, and it was a proud moment for myself.
It must have been, Charlie. It was like some time, wasn't it, when you think about it? February to May last year.
Yeah, some great performances in that in the Europa League. I mean, that away performance, the way you played in the counter attack, was that 5-4-1 you kind of played?
But we played like a box in the middle of the pitch.
That was brilliant.
The two wing backs really aggressive. Listen, we had a few bumps. There was always going to be. I knew that before I went in. If I'm being honest with you, there was going to be a few bumps in the road. You try and limit the bumps as much as possible. And then I just thought towards the end we started to motor a wee bit, and they started to obviously understand what way we were wanting to approach games. But listen, it never happened. No missed a game this season. I go to all the games, and hopefully they can go one better than
How
last
many
year.
points do you think win the title this year?
I'm looking. Do you know what, Charlie? It's weird you said that. I was looking at that earlier on. I'm looking at, I think 80, 81.
Yeah.
What do you think, Charlie? Yeah. 82,
Yeah, I think early
81.
80s.
Yeah.
When you look at Rangers and you think if they won their 8 games, you're just looking at that as the least amount of points with the 3. It would be 84 points.
84. Yeah.
But I don't think that they'll all win.
Do you
I
think
don't think they'll win. I think there'll be loads of points drawn. I think
see the
early
3
80s,
games each team's got before the split? Do you think they'll win the 3 of them?
I don't know.
I know.
I can't be confident in that. No, I don't think they will. And I don't know who. You can't put your finger on who. I just think there's so many other teams in the league that can cause upsets or
So Rangers is Aberdeen, Dundee United, Falkirk, Celtics,
Dundee United, away, Dundee away, St Mirren at home.
Right.
And then Hearts, I've got Dundee at home, Livy away, Motherwell
See,
home.
Motherwell are going to play a part in this still.
Yeah.
I know, and even Livy are gone. You could as well say they're relegated, but they're still getting
Draw every week.
draws
isn't it?
against Hibs. They're happy to defend their box, and it's not a given. They drew against Rangers recently. It's you could never call it again. I'll say it again. It's Hearts' to lose.
You got that message, everyone there. Scott, listen, thanks. We've enjoyed your football chat. Thank you so much, Scott.
Enjoy the 500, Scott.
Cheers, Scott. Well done, mate.
Cheers. So thank you. And Lucy getting her holiday, which is brilliant. She's getting it anyway, but there's,
you threw me.
I know, right? We've got that. I've got it. Okay.
I mean, I'm glad. It's not just me that thought like that.
Exactly.
Charlie was the
Barry
same.
likes everything to be absolutely sorted, and it is. We're back just after this.
The Go Radio Football Show with Burger King.
Yeah, the Oscars. Were there any Oscars on the field of play over the weekend? I'm trying to think. Was there much diving or whatever? I don't think so. Or was there?
On that, do you think that Braga? Do you see Braga's?
Yes, aye.
I think if it goes down there, it's a penalty.
So they are, Barry, and I think that if we want to eradicate diving for the game, then why don't we reward people that stay on their feet? Because I think that was a penalty.
Yeah. How do you reward them?
By giving them it.
Oh,
Give them
right.
the penalty.
Okay, give them it.
So
because it has
you
broke
shouldn't
his
have
stride,
to,
Charlie. It has broke his stride.
Right.
I think if he doesn't get touched there, he actually gets onto the ball a bit earlier. So I agree.
Because we all know that if you're going to get touched, you need to go down, and you know that it'll be given. So if you stay up and try and get there, you should be rewarded by going back and saying, well, he still, like Barry said, took him off his stride. Give a pick. I mean, do you remember a tatty at Aberdeen as well when he swung for the ball? And Lyle Cameron nicked in. Lyle Cameron was honest as well. If he'd went down, that would have been a pick. I just think that we can't get rid of diving if we don't sort of reward.
So did they just not look at it then because he stays in his feet?
Stays in his feet. But if he goes down,
that's wrong.
If he goes down, they look at it and they give it. You can guarantee that.
Because good on him for staying up.
I know. Fair play to him.
That is 100% a penalty if he drops to the ground.
100%.
Anything else over the games over the weekend? There's not been too much VAR controversy, has there?
No, I can think of it. There was a bit of debate with the Celtic one, but I thought it was. I thought for me at the time, I thought it was blatantly a penalty, and John Beaton eventually got it right.
Yeah. In some ways, the pity the player gets sent off, though, isn't it? It's kind of double. Do you not think?
The rule is if you deny a goal scoring opportunity, which he did, he doesn't really tap in. I know.
Do you not think it's a bit harsh?
That is, to be fair to Motherwell, at that point they were never coming back. I know they done well against Rangers with 10 men, but you just felt that they were never going to compete after that because of the 10 men and the way Celtic were playing at the time.
In the Championship, Barry, as you know, it kicked off Friday night. Late goal from Partick Thistle, so it keeps them in the chase.
Yeah, they're still chasing St Johnstone down. That's for sure. I think Mark Wilson's done a brilliant job at Partick this season.
And a win for St Johnstone yesterday or the day before. Queen's Park drawing 1-1 with Ayr United. Another draw for your old teammate Scott Brown.
Yeah, it's no easy in that league. Every team can pick up a result. Queen's Park fighting for lives down there, doing well. St Johnstone, good result. Again, I think they'll go on and win the league. Thistle are chasing them behind. Will's done brilliant there, Mark Wilson. But I think St Johnstone will do well to hang on, and that'll be. I think Thistle will get playoffs, and also Neil Lennon gets a good result as well again.
So. Yeah, Neil Lennon. A couple of people have been on saying he thinks would he go there was the question. A couple of people.
I don't know.
Derek,
I've not spoke to him. I don't know. I bet if I was sitting I'd be asking the question because it is a league up the way. I don't know what the plans are. I know Dunfermline I've got some plans with the ownership and going forward and trying to get that club because it is a Premiership club into the Premiership. But yeah, if I was sitting Mum right now, I'd be going try to get Neil Lennon and try to get him in the door as quick as he can.
Barry, you kicked it off by saying that. Could you see it happen?
No, it was Charlie that mentioned it, and I never even had any thoughts of who was going to get the job, and I can see why Charlie mentioned it. Listen, he's done a good job. He's got them into the semi-final of the Scottish Cup. Another big victory for him at the weekend in the Fife Derby against Raith Rovers. So it'll be interesting, as I mentioned, what way they're going to go. They're going to go down the experience route, or they're going to go for a younger manager.
I think you need experience at this stage.
I think it works perfect because they're in a relegation fight, and I think he's the one that comes in and he'll stand up to that test, and he'll have the players standing up to it. He'll get a nice simple message across, and then get into next year. You would fancy him to do a job to get someone up near that top six. So I think he would be the ideal candidate. Now listen, I don't know how easy it is to go to Dunfermline and try and get their manager because they won't want to lose him. So I'm only throwing something out there. Okay.
Jens Bertel Askew has done a brilliant job for Motherwell. We know it, they lost at the weekend. That's 2 in a row, which is what's never happened this season for them. But what a manager. And Martin O'Neill, after the win on Saturday, paid tribute to his opposite number.
He's done super. Absolutely super with the side. Really good, really fine footballing team. And dangers all the time, you know. So they take some risks at the back, and so do we. But you know, when you're hoping to try and break the press, all those type of things. Imagine me talking breaking the press, you know, at 74. But all of those things, I think is, I think I said in the notes, it's been a fantastic effort by them. Really fantastic, a really fine footballing team, and well done him.
Martin O'Neill breaking the press there. Yeah,
well, I'm surprised at that. He's no one for the modern tactical talk, is he, Martin? I'm surprised we've not had is it Stephen from Motherwell, the Motherwell fan? I'm surprised we've not had him on recently.
I know.
He loves a wee chat about Motherwell, but I don't know how much more we can say about how good they are, but they're a real good footballing team.
Is he going to be the next Celtic manager? If it's not Martin O'Neill, obviously the name of Robbie Keane keeps coming up as well.
Don't know enough about Robbie Keane. I know he's done a decent job at Ferencváros in the Europa League, but I think that I would personally go for Bertel Askew and give him. He's right under our noses. He's right there. I don't know why. They might have contacted him already, but I think he would definitely be. I know he's been at a lot of Celtic games this year. I think he could really be a top manager at Celtic again. If you're going from Motherwell to Celtic's 2 completely different animals, but he needs to take the opportunity and the leap at some stage to a bigger club. You'd imagine he'd definitely do that this summer, and it's where he goes, and why shouldn't it be Celtic?
Barry, this time last year you were up against Brendan Rodgers. This time next year, do you think Danny Rule will be up against Jens Bertel Askew at Celtic Park?
Well, there's a high possibility because obviously Celtic have not got a permanent manager at this moment in time, and they're clearly going to be looking for a manager, whether that's Martin O'Neill or not. I'm not too sure whether he'll want to carry on. But the Motherwell manager, Yeah, but he's surprised, I think, everybody. But there is a difference between Motherwell and obviously going to a bigger club with the pressures on you constantly. He's been allowed to go and make mistakes at Motherwell in terms of the early stages of the season. They weren't winning many games. They were giving some goals away with the chances that they take, but slowly but surely you just see them. And we're talking about players like Manmanisi and Just, and I look at like the Scottish ones like McGinn and O'Donnell. The difference he's made in them. Now, they're coming towards the latter stages of their career. And the confidence and the difference in their players, they've always been good professionals, but they've been top performers for Motherwell. It's easy to always go and use examples of Motherwell having a good team with all the other players round about, but look at home and look how big an influence both of the players that I've just mentioned have been for Motherwell this year.
Do you think he would do well if he comes to Celtic?
I think he would, but I look at Motherwell and because it's Motherwell, no disrespect, teams come and press Motherwell, and that entices the press, because that's what Motherwell are looking for. And then they play short and they try and play through teams. They also try and play over because there's high lines, try to press them. I just wonder if he's at Celtic and Celtic are then playing against teams who are a lot deeper, then they need to sort of then go and be creative against a low sort of block or a defensive line that are much deeper. So it would be a new challenge. It would be different than being at Motherwell, obviously. He would then potentially have European football to navigate. But no, I think he would do a good job. I still think that Martin O'Neill, if he wins this league this year and he gets a double, he should have first refusal. I don't know how much he wants it. So I'm not going to speak for him, but I think he definitely deserves to have a say in it as well.
Because that was my next question. If Martin O'Neill wins the title and maybe a double, how could they not offer it?
Exactly, Paul. And do you know what? Do you know Martin O'Neill stepping in, not just on the pitch? The fans are the go-to song now in Celtic Park's the Martin O'Neill song. I think it's brought a wee. I think it's brought a wee bit of unity between everybody. He's definitely been that bridge between everybody, so he deserves a lot of credit. And if he doesn't decide to be the manager, then I don't think there's any reason why he shouldn't potentially be on the board as a football person on the board, and can definitely have a part to play there.
Barry, that was your song last year. What about Martin O'Neill though? Because he could well win the title. How can they let him go?
It's all ifs and buts, but the job that he's done previous to obviously leaving in the December time to come back in, and they were flat. The place was flat. Celtic were flat. And he's come in and made a difference again. Now, if he doesn't take the job, I think it would be absolute craziness if they just let him go and wander off. You've got to have a guy round about the place with experience and know-how, and he's certainly got that. So I'd be surprised if he doesn't get the job, that they don't find something for him within the club.
Because it must be, when you went into Rangers, Barry, you knew it so well, but you'd never been manager. What was it like? How many people were you dealing with? I always remember that day.
You're dealing with a lot of people.
Yeah.
There's
dozens.
There's so many people.
At the training ground?
Yeah, at the training ground and at the stadium. And the staff that you carry as well nowadays, it's not like it was 15 years ago. It's doubled or trebled in terms of the amount of people who's involved. And it took a bit of getting used to, there's no doubt. It was a bit of an eye-opener, if I'm being honest with you, but you learn to deal with it as quickly as possible, and there's always really good people round about the place.
With the good people helping you, the ownership.
Yeah, listen, I can't complain, no doubt about it. They let me go on with it, which I liked. They never interfered, and whenever I needed something or whatever, they were always on the end of the phone, or they were there to talk to.
It's amazing how big the clubs are, Charlie.
The operations are huge.
I know.
Yeah.
It's honestly,
the public, we don't realise.
It's huge.
No, you see the amount of staff at even Celtic Park all day. Everybody's got their own job and their own role to play, and players demand so much more now in terms of individual clips, unit meetings. Even compared to when I was at Celtic, it's we get a DVD player put into the wall, and Lennon used to go through a DVD. It's not any of that now.
What's wrong with that?
It's not like that now. I was actually walking past people after 2 months in the training ground. All right, how are you?
Did he know what he'd done?
Exactly. There's that many staff, not just in the first team, but the academy, and there's so many. There's so many. Sorry, people involved, and it's a massive operation.
It sure is. Danny Rule has done really well. What are you thinking on last 2 minutes, Charlie? Danny Rule, this is what he said about his team's response after. I mean, it was a really disappointing couple of weekends from a Rangers point of view.
Was the result today. I felt this in the morning when we meet each other. There was so much energy in the dressing room. It was fantastic. There's so much belief in our group. There's no doubt that we can achieve something this season. But you have to take the results, and today we did. I think the table now looks better than before this match day, and this is great.
Sure does. 3 points off. What do you feel?
I'm just looking near the amount of draws they've had. I didn't realise it was that many draws. When
How
you
many?
look at, they've got 12 draws. Celtic 4, Hearts 6. So the Rangers need to have a right run of games where they win. Danny Rowe's proven that he can win games even when the Rangers aren't playing well. He can pick points up. And yep, he's signing Chukwani and Romans now. I've added to the squad. So listen, it's so hard to call, but again, he'll just be trying to tick the games off and win them. And if Rangers keep keeping clean sheets like they've done in the last 2 games, and then obviously offer a bit more in the final third, then listen, they'll be right in about the mix. The same as Celtic. Celtic have got the fight under Martin O'Neill. They've got that never say kind of die attitude with the last minute goals. They get Hearts that are ticking wins off, that are winning 1-0 here and there. They respond for losing. I mean, I don't think anybody could call it, Paul. It's going to be so exciting.
Now, that was a big test yesterday, because the level of performance, I think if you ask him privately, he won't be happy about it. I think if you ask the players, we can play a lot better here. But the key to it is, if you look at previous away games, they've dropped points. They never. And that was the most important thing yesterday. A lot of people going about performance levels, and rightly so, because it is a big part of the game. But the most important thing in a game of football is winning and finding a way to win.
I think you can almost argue it was a harder game with Stevie Robinson being away. I mean, St Mirren looked like a wee bit in free fall under Stevie Robinson.
Sure.
It looked like there was a wee bit of disconnect between them. I don't know since they won the final.
And just speculation about his future as well. It definitely affected
and he
them.
came out and had a wee pop at the players at one point.
Did.
And it was just looked like. So maybe the players responded, and it was a difficult game. Wasn't easy. Rangers picked up the points, and there'll be many more of them to come.
Charlie, Barry, thank you so much.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks
Cheers,
for everyone
Paul.
who's on. We're back tomorrow night. Andy Walker will be here along with Jimmy Murphy. Have a great night.